Hello.
Yo, what's up, Luke?
What up?
Hey, man.
What's up, Luke?
You're on with Disco and Conan.
What's going on?
What's up, Luke?
What's up, man? How you doing?
All right. So who wants to set this up, Joe or Di? Oh, I've set it up, and you. So basically, I saw this film clip of your son jumping off the balcony in a mall. I didn't know it was your son. Huh?
I said, "Fuck yeah."
Yeah. I didn't know it was your son. And then right now, when we were starting the podcast, they were told me it was your son, and then Disco told me that he tweeted something, and then you had answered something, and then Jojo, our producer, said, "Well, let's get Luke on so he can talk with Di." So that's basically where we're at.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
that's
go ahead. Go ahead, Di.
Right, okay. So I don't know your. I'm assuming your kid can work because you know how to work. You run Wildcats Sports.
Huh? Yeah, but have you seen video of him? Have you seen video of him working?
That's the thing. I'm just going to assume he's good, like he's really good, because I don't even have to see him working. I'm assuming he's a good worker because he's your kid. You kind of got good old school principles. You know, Wildcats a good organization. Got good talent there. A lot of attractive girls that know how to work. Just a good like you do it right down there, right?
Right. We try to. But yeah, and not only that, he's a multi-time, state champion amateur wrestler.
Right.
State, Team Louisiana national team member.
Right.
Amateur wrestling coach, and I mean, he's a hell of a professional wrestler too. I mean, he's still getting his feet wet, but he got a lot of recognition real quickly before this video. I'm saying the last couple of years because of how good he is in the ring. But unfortunately, your quote unquote wrestling videos of you doing amateur wrestling and being a skilled worker and great worker doesn't go viral. You got to do something fucking off the charts to go viral. You know what I mean? So, and that's what he did.
Okay, I guess you're admitting it, because I think that's just the one I want to talk about, is that's a problem with the professional wrestling business, that it's like we're not even at, like you talk about, like your kid's a good worker, right? It's like, how many videos do I ever click on YouTube that come to my Twitter feed of two young guys in the business showing me good work, like amateur skill? They don't. Okay, and so
they want to see somebody get kicked in the face as hard as they can. Go, oh, look, this guy screwed this up, and he stomped on his neck. And let's spread that around. They don't show how good people actually are in the ring and how well trained they are. But that's part of the problem with wrestling. I have this problem all the time. We talk about this bullshit all the time. Is where anybody and everybody can be a wrestler. There's no qualification. Everybody calls themselves a goddamn professional wrestler, and they don't have a professional bone in their body. They can't work anything. They bagging groceries, bro. Like in the commissions out here, licensing dudes. States with athletic commissions are licensing dudes with no qualifications to be a professional wrestler. It's nuts.
Right. Okay, well, then you're kind of like, so that's your belief system. So why do you let your kid give into this instead of like going forward with the way your principals kind of like direct you? Now you're having given to this thing in the business where you got to do something that's risking your life just to get noticed. Why would you ever stand that?
I don't think he ever risked his life. When he came up with it, we talked. Outside of wrestling, we're both professional stuntmen and actors. Mm-hmm. We do high falls. I'm qualified for high falls up to 50 feet. He's done up to 30. And obviously there's a big jump between 50 and 30, and what he did was around 15 feet. But it was safely done, and we went over everything ahead of time. He the way it's my son we're talking about here, so right. I would never put not just my son. I would never put anybody at risk that I think would have the possibility of getting hurt. But I just brought this up and talked to K-Dog over there. La Parka from AAA just died, right? Doing something that you see on Monday Night Raw 20 times a night.
Right.
So no matter what, we're going to be put up at risk. But I'm never going to put him at some crazy, extraordinary risk. I think what he did was very safely done and executed, and was, I want to say pre-planned safely, but it wasn't really pre-planned. We went over how to do it efficiently and how to do it safely. You know what I mean? And if I didn't think he could safely pull it off, I would never put him in that position or anybody else. And I mean, you've seen the stuff I've done. Shit, I was doing 450s off the crow's nest at the ECW arena through tables and thumbtacks when I was Altar Boy Luke.
Right.
And doing those death matches back in the early 2000s, 2001, 2002. I was doing dumb shit, but I felt like I had to back then.
So here's the thing. Here's the well. Here's the okay. On the surface, I understand your argument, but this is the problem that we see that kind of permeates. Is we know, like, okay, no, I'm having to bring you on this podcast here. We are having a discussion, and we're talking about how your kid is a stuntman, and you're a stuntman like you're professionals and would know how to execute a stunt, because that's what it was. It's a stunt
right,
like
exactly
this, right? But people
100%.
watching this don't have that skill level. And you see it, like, when you see it's getting viral thing, you see it's on SportsCenter now. Now what happens is you got the copycatters. And they're not professional stuntmen. They don't know how to work and stuff. And I'm just scared. And you know me. I don't know if you listen to the show, bro. I'm just real big for safety. I just get scared when I see the future, because I'm just wondering if on TV someday, on national TV, on TNT or on USA or Fox, we're going to have somebody doing something really ridiculous, really scary, and they're going to break their neck on live TV. And it's going to have a backlash, especially with this cancel culture crowd out there on social media and stuff and all the trolls. It is going to have a backlash that is going to affect the business. And I
think you're right. I think that is going to happen one day. It's like what we do it's kind of unavoidable, right? That injury is definitely going to happen. It has happened in the past. Everybody talks about the Owen Hart thing. But there's so many issues where guys have broken their necks or broken their back. I mean, Vader powerbombed the guy and broke his back, right? Remember that in the early 90s? Like, it's going to happen. Just hopefully it's not too graphic, and hopefully it doesn't happen. But at some point, right, it's like a football game or a boxing match. You see these guys, they go out there and they pound each other's faces, and then one of them has a brain aneurysm and dies after the match. Eventually it happens. It's happened several times. I'm surprised nobody's been killed in UFC yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, Luke. I almost look at it like when I first met Sabu and he was doing all his crazy shit. And I was like, bro, why are you doing that? And he said, well, I had to do something that was different than anybody else. And he was right. It got him noticed. And the problem is that nowadays, like you referred to in the beginning, if you're not doing something absolutely crazy or something really like controversial, it won't go viral. And that's where the youth is today. They want to see how many hits they can get, if something's going to go viral. Because of what you're because Disco was telling me before you came on, what's the risk reward of this? And I was like, well, the reward is, because I didn't know this, but Disco said it was on SportsCenter.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's on everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Everywhere.
Also,
ESPN aired it on TV twice. They aired it on SportsCenter last night and their high noon show at 12 o'clock.
And PJ's tweet here that he initially put out has 3 million views in a day. 3 million. So I mean,
right. So I don't know, bro. Is that okay?
So here's the thing. So this is a problem that you see. Everybody has, whether it's the YouTubers or these brand ambassadors, these influencers. Everybody's trying to do something crazy to get noticed. Like the other day, the one I think you sent me this video, Disco, where Logan Paul came out and was dissing AB. Did you see that?
Yeah, Antonio Brown, the Antonio Brown diss video. That's unbelievable. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Go look up on YouTube Logan Paul AB Antonio Brown diss video. It's one of the most incredible things you've ever seen.
So, anyways, he did like this humongous boxing match against another YouTube guy, like maybe a year ago.
That was recently, I thought.
No, maybe a year ago. And Logan Paul, what was the other guy's name? Another like famous YouTube guy. They had like a boxing match. They had numbers that Danzin or anybody else would have loved to have had. You know what I'm saying? Because he's out there just doing controversial and shit that goes viral, and that's what's happening in wrestling. He went out there, he did that, and it's weird because out of all the things that we've seen in wrestling, all these dangerous things, we really haven't seen that many people get that seriously hurt from it. But like you said, there's something big. It's probably going to happen one day, and what's going to probably happen if there's an outroar, they may just take that high risk element out of wrestling.
Well, here's the thing.
They've done it with head chair shots, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you guys a question, and this is my take on it. I want to know if you guys would agree or disagree with this.
Right.
Ultimately, what we've seen the amount of views it got, the publicity it got, everything. That, in my opinion, okay, this was good for your kid, but not good for the business, and that's my take. Would you agree that would you agree with that, or would you disagree with that?
I personally would disagree with it, because it literally internationally, worldwide, had people talking about wrestling. I've had actors, I've had famous comedians. They've all reached out to us. They've all posted this video. I mean, like just a little while ago, I seen Luke Cage, Gary Owens, the comedian. Like they posted this video. So like all these famous people are posting my son and posting wrestling, which is blowing up my business, Wildcat Sports. You know, and I mean, one thing for me is we're a father-son tag team, which is extremely unique, right? Hasn't really been done in Mexico, of course. But in the States, there's never been a real full-time father-son tag team. You would think that would get like a ton of publicity, right? But it hasn't. It has got some good publicity, and we're getting some bookings, and we've been staying busy, right? We've been staying busy, but we didn't hit that explosive market yet. Now this has caused us to hit that explosive market, and we're starting like everything. People are throwing bookings at it.
Luke, when will you be next and jump off the roof of the mall and really make this bitch go viral?
I retired from that.
Okay. Let me say this. At least give me this. Do you don't plan on having him doing something like that again, do you?
No, he doesn't even want it to. Like it was kind of like a one-time thing, which is cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't want him taking all these big risks. I mean, he even said that. He told me several times, even after it. He said, "Look, I hope people don't expect me to do this again because I'm a wrestler." He's a legit shooter. He's a wrestler. That's what he loves. He loves mat wrestling. He'll go on the mat and grapple for hours. He goes to Wildcat, and he'll sit there and literally grapple with each guy for 20, 30 minutes a piece and then move to the next guy. That's just what he loves to do. He loves to grind on the mat.
You know what, bro? It's a shame that your kid knows how to work, and this is what he has to do in 2020, get noticed on social media.
That's the world we live in, bro.
And he's bilingual. He's half Colombian. You know what I mean? So, like, he's got that transition to where he can transition to other things. You know, he has a lot of good qualities and abilities that a lot of wrestlers don't have, so to speak. So I'm glad to see him get some shine and get some light, and I just hope it, promotes him properly.